It's December the 27th and chaos is reigning, not only in my hair, which is quite something, but in the house as well. There's Christmas chaos everywhere. The house is wrecked. The kids have just left for their dads the day after Boxing Day. I had them for an extra day, yay, but it's chaos. So I know I look like I've been pulled through a hedge backwards, and my hair's beginning to stand up on its own. It looks like I haven't seen a brush, but this is the reality of Christmas exhaustion. And by the time I do get to bed at Christmas, I sleep so soundly. I wake up every morning and my hair is just like a complete hedge. So I'm filming this on the day after Boxing Day. So it's the 27th of December today. I was really poorly on the lead up to Christmas. I had 3 weeks where I was really poorly. I did COVID tests, they came back negative, but I really was off my feet. I tried to come back to YouTube and then had to come off again and go back to bed. And the lead up to Christmas was very much a worry that I couldn't do it. But we did. Me and the kids have had the best time. Normally they go to their dad's Boxing Day morning, and this time of year is notoriously my hardest time of year. All their presents are here, all their toys. The Christmas wreckage of the house is still here, and the kids are gone. So one of the prompts, prompt number 20, said, Frosty or Santa, does it make you feel cold or joy? And for me, it has been historically in the last 10 years, both because I am a big kid at heart and I love being a mum and I love my kids' joy. So Christmas time is really full of joy and excitement. We're all equally excited in the house. But then after divorce, the fact that they're split between 2 houses and they normally go on Boxing Day and they're gone for a whole week, that has notoriously been my the cold part of this holiday season, where my heart literally breaks because the kids have gone. So it's up to this year it's been both, but there's a change coming. But Frosty or Santa, it's been both, but we're going to keep just to Santa moving forward. So that was my answer to prompt number 20. I'm going to do these prompts out of order and just chit chat to you for just a little bit. This year they begged their dad to let them stay an extra day here for Boxing Day because he has them for 7 days. This year he actually agreed, so I had them for Boxing Day as well, so they had an extra day playing with all their things, and it was just glorious. I loved it. My best memories of Christmas are watching their joy, watching their happiness, sitting with them watching movies. We've had movie nights, sitting with them doing art projects. We did that yesterday. Busby had a new drum kit, watching his excitement as I spent 3 hours building the thing, because that took some building. This is why I look like I do, and I'm not going to hide it because I think it's nice to see a bit of reality. I think single parents at Christmas, you'll all get this. You're the cooker, you're the present wrapper, you're the present builder, you're the present toy fixer, you're the battery putter inner, you're the rubbish to the bins taker outer, you're the Christmas dinner maker, you're literally everything, and you don't come up for air, which is why I look like this, and it's why the house is wrecked. So all of that aside, all of this madness is my favourite memory of Christmas. That is vlog 24. I've got them written down here, of Vlogmas, which I've missed out so many. What is the best gift I can give? To be all of those things for my kids, to let them just have magic, giving myself my time, even if the result is I end up looking like this. That is the best gift I can give. So what am I grateful for? Oh my gosh, I'm grateful for those kids of mine. I'm grateful for boys that say, Mom, come and listen to me play my drums, or can we sit and do etching pictures together? I'm grateful for a teenager daughter that comes down and wants to watch movies with me, and when we're both sobbing because we're both the same watching movies, we sit and we give each other a cuddle. I'm grateful for those moments. I'm grateful for my fur babies that just follow me around the house wondering what's going on. I'm grateful for the family that I do have. And all I want for Christmas, I want those kids of mine to be happy and to know that life doesn't have to be perfect to be wonderful. They don't like having two separate houses to be split between at Christmas, but I still want them to know it's not perfect, but it's wonderful. And I want them to know that I want them to have as much fun at their dad's as I do here. That's my wish for them, that they know that they don't need to worry about me when they're not here, and that they can go and have the most fun there and come back and tell me all about it. What traditions do I have during this time of year? Right, well, I've put the camera on today, not only because I'm feeling a bit better, but also historically this time of year is when I crash and burn. Not only is the house always wrecked and I'm always completely out of energy, but also emotionally, normally this is a war for me. Christmas presents out, Christmas chaos still here, kids gone. It sends me normally down the spiral of it shouldn't be like this. I'm missing my kids. I've decided that is a tradition that needs to stop. And I'm dropping stories going into a new year. You'll know that it's so easy to get caught in the ruminating story of looking back. I cannot do it anymore. So what traditions do I have at this time of year? We're going to write some new ones. We're going to make some plans for me. We're going to get the house looking beautiful again because I want a calmer house. I might declutter a bit. I might show you what I got for Christmas, because I do celebrate Christmas and Yule. We had a Yule log on the 21st. So we did both this year, which was lovely. Stocking, who or what do you cling to? Well, I've clung to that old story for a decade. Don't want to cling to that anymore. I want to write a new story. So we're dropping things that I clung to. My new story, I think, is going to have the core arc within the story of the fact that I love. So I am going to cling to the fact that I trust and know my heart, and that's going to be what I cling to moving forward. So dropping old stories is what I think of as I start tidying up. I go into my tarot room. I'm setting up for a next video I'm doing, AV Art Mixed Disarray. I've got 4 decks out ready to go. I've got all my birthday and Christmas stash. I want to film that as well. And I've got the amazing Kellyanne Maddox playing in the background with an awesome pilgrimage video. Kellyanne, it was brilliant. There's me. I'm showered, the hair's sorted, and I'm sorting out my ancestral altar, decluttering. The tarot room had got a terrible mess because it was where I hid presents and did wrapping. So it's the first time you've been able to move in here. There's my self-love altar, and I've moved my Lego spell making to the top of this cabinet. Just a general tidy up as I think about the idea of dropping stories. There's a plaque that my kids bought me that says, "You're blooming lovely." That's one of the stories I'm going to drop, that I'm not lovely, that I am unworthy. That's going. I tidied the top of the piano, and then the piano. This is another story. I am a pianist that hasn't played for over a decade. I was married to a musician, and one of the unspoken rules of our marriage was me not to play. So I opened the lid for the first time in a decade, and I decided to play my favourite song, which is another Vlogmas prompt, In the Bleak Midwinter. This was a carol that I sang solo when I was about 7, and it's a memory that stays with me. I love this carol, so here we go. The first time playing for years. This is an abandoned passion, an abandoned friend, piano playing. This little piano is a little £50 piano that I bought after my divorce to try and reclaim this part of me that had been banned and not allowed, and that I'd given up without a fight. How different a person I was back then. How useful trauma is for moulding our strength. Who would have thought marrying a musician would steal away your own music? I opened the piano drawer and there are so many old favourites in here. I think it's time to rediscover them. So we're in the realm of dropping story. So even with the piano, music didn't get taken off me. I allowed that to be taken. Radical responsibility moving forward. I didn't love myself enough back then to say no, to claim the piano still as my own passion, to say no to parts of the house being put out of bounds for me, to having my energy used up so dramatically that there was never anything left for me. I think radical responsibility moving forward, dropping some of these stories, I feel a really new space opening up that has more room for self-love and self-forgiveness, really, to grow, to forgive myself for not having my own back and for not loving myself enough to say no to people. The deck through the year that has got me to this point, so what deck has really helped you, which I think is prompt 26, is it? I'm not sure, but it's this one, the Dreams of Gaia, which is a system all in its own right. I have the big version, but also as part of my Christmas present stash down here, I also opened this Christmas the mini version, which has been a real trip. I've got 2 prompts left to get me up to date. Prompt 26, so yesterday's prompt was what deck helped you get through the year. For that, it's this Dreams of Gaia deck. But also, today's prompt is what were your biggest wins of the year? And I wanted to show you some of my Christmas present stash because that's always fun to see, and use that to talk about those 2 prompts. So, like I said, I bought this deck right at the start of 2021 because it was in the sale. I got it for £10 and I knew I wanted a mini Dreams of Gaia because it was unbordered, it's matte cardstock, whereas this is really shiny cardstock. And it's been a trip opening this up on Christmas Day and seeing the cards that I know and love so well without the border on and in a completely different cardstock. It has been such a trip and I have really loved it. You can see the difference between the 2 of them. And now this deck, I will do a proper comparison video, I think. But this deck has been special for me because the Dreams of Gaia is the deck that I did my biggest and longest study with this year. And it made me realise that I just love spending a long time with one deck. Because it's its own system as well, and because my memory's shot to pieces, it is a deck that you do need to spend a fair bit of time with it. Look at this though, it's just amazing. I love both of them. I love the glossy with the colours really popping and the borders, but there's something so special about this as well. These are the comparison of the backs. This deck just is very healing. The guidebook, which is fabulous, the messages in the guidebook and the way the cards are laid out. It does have a really healing message. It does push you towards self-love and self-forgiveness, which I think this year is the path that I've been on. Of course, the other deck this year has been the Iris Oracle as well. This has been used virtually all year long. These are the backs, which is the glorious backs, to really help me overcome the biggest trauma really that I've lived through, which was my feelings about my family and the pain and the destruction that they have caused since the passing of my dad, and the cruelty that they've thrown out at me. This links to one of my biggest wins. So after years of not hearing from anybody, my mother actually left a voicemail on my phone about 2-3 weeks ago, which I picked up a couple of days later because my phone is dodgy with voicemail messages. And I didn't fall apart, which is a massive win, and this deck has got a lot to do with this. The voice message was very much a blame flip message, basically saying, I can't bear not to talk to you for yet another Christmas, so phone me back. If you don't phone me back, I will know exactly where I stand with you, was the message that was left. My realization almost immediately with that phone call was not to fall apart and to feel guilty, which I would have done before all of this work that things like this deck helped with. My almost immediate response was, why does it take me phoning you back for you to understand where you stand with me? How about the years since Dad's gone, where you've excluded me on purpose, where you've lied about me, where you've split siblings up, where you've sided with abusers against me? What about the times that you have gaslighted me or left me standing on your doorstep with babies in tow while you stand me up for the 100th time? Why don't those events help you see where you stand with me? How about the time when you told me to please stop inviting you to be a part of my life because you were running out of excuses and you didn't want to tell me you just found me boring? Why didn't that moment help you realise where you stood with me? Why now is your understanding of where you stand with me hinged on whether I call you back, return a phone call? I think there's enough evidence that you've provided in our lives for you to understand where you stand with me. And I think that's my biggest achievement this year. My feelings towards my family was the one thing that was keeping me trapped. Trapped is the only word I could say. Trapped in my own ruminations, my own bitterness. It was turning into bitterness. My anger, it was festering, which then turned into self-harm and self-hate against myself. It's led to a huge weight gain, which I am now learning to be self-forgiving and self-loving about. My health this year has taken a battering. I think mentally now I've got to a space across this year where I feel differently about it, and that phone call helped me realise how far I've come and how much I've healed, and I am so thankful for this year. I think now it's time for me to step into real self-responsibility for my path moving forward. I really feel like a door has closed. No return phone call is required for that. So with that said, with the decks that helped me through the year, with this beautiful mini version that's now going to be thrown in my bag as an adventure tarot, with this gorgeous oracle that really saved my soul on repeat many times. I'm going to show you some of my Christmas and birthday stuff. Firstly, stuff for the art studio. Exploring bravery in the art studio, where it felt safer to try my bravery muscle. That was a massive success this year. I started painting in oils, which is something I've wanted to do for years. I discovered that I love oil painting. I love painting. I started painting in watercolours. I've started 2 tarot decks, the Moon Tarot and the Toy Tarot. Oh my goodness, I really got my fire back for art. This Christmas I bought Poppy a set of these. These are oil pastels. These are really on sale in a UK art shop online. So I bought her a set and me a set because oil pastels is something I'd love to try alongside the oil paints. So that was something that I treated myself to. Also some stamps for some more journaling. I think my handmade journals this year have been a success. Exploring different media. My art studio has been a success. I've also reconnected with my love of finding out about the art world. I grew up as a little girl just outside Hay-on-Wye by the Black Mountains, which is famous for being a second-hand book town. And growing up, I would cycle into Hay and spend all my pocket money, all the money I earned babysitting, on art books, but I haven't done it for a long time. So this Christmas, as a celebration of the win of the art studio, I treated myself to some second-hand art books, again second-hand. I sat and I read this art book, which is the Essential Grandma Moses book, over Christmas Day and Boxing Day. It's only a tiny little book, but this is about the folk artist Grandma Moses, and this was one of my favourite things about Christmas, was sitting reading about her incredible life. Grandma Moses, who didn't come to professional painting till she was over 70. It's never too late. If any book and any artist gives you the message it's never too late, it's Grandma Moses. I've rediscovered a massive love for folk painting and folk art this year. Grandma Moses was somebody I wanted to find out about. I then found this book, which is quite expensive. This is another book about Grandma Moses, but I found it secondhand for just a few pounds. Again, it's got loads of pictures of her amazing artwork. She was mostly a landscape painter, and it's something that's calling me to go and try some landscape art as well. So these books about Grandma Moses were basically a celebration of my art studio wins. Also, I wanted to find out about the artist Maud Lewis, again a self-taught folk art painter, who did wonderful paintings like this. I've got 2 books. Both of these were found secondhand. This is about her house, because she painted her house. Now, she was really disabled and she couldn't get about, and her husband would bring paints to her. Basically, she painted her house and she painted what she could see out of her window. That's all I know. I've seen her artwork. Look, there's her tiny little house. And I have seen the way she paints, and I just love it. The fact that there's a link to the world of special needs in there as well makes this special needs mama's heart burst with joy. These were another couple of books I treated myself to that I can't wait to read. Again, another book that I found secondhand for just a couple of pounds was Painting Dreams, the art of Minnie Evans, who uses dreams to paint with, I am assuming. I don't know yet because I haven't read it. Really excited about that one. And then finally, for art books, again secondhand, bought really cheap, less than £10, was The Flowering of American Folk Art, a history book, which is quite a big book, this one. which has got all of the history of folk art in America. Again, I can't wait to read that one. And this one, which is folk art style, which isn't quite what I expected. It was bought online for about £4, I think. It's not quite what I was expecting. It's more of a how to paint some of the motifs of the folk art and like folk art furniture and folk art books and stuff. But it might come in useful for simple sketching. So loads of folk art books and folk art artists to read about there. And then this gorgeous book, bought for £3, secondhand again, The Anthology of Flowers. This is by Jane Field Lewis and Richard Maxted. It's a wonderful book. When I was doing my gratitude tarot pulls using the Christmas tree, and if you haven't seen that video, I'll link it below. But one of the things that came up was sunflowers and using flowers more in the coming year to sort of share joy, and it's going to be part of my path, and to be thankful for flowers. Of course, I've got my garden where I grow flowers. Looking at folk art that's full of flowers as well, and I just thought a book to learn more about flowers might be a really useful addition for art resources, and also just to inspire my spiritual path, learning more about flowers. So I'm grateful so much for my garden. My garden has been a massive win this year. Loads of work. It did overwhelm me at the end of summer. Moving forward, let's see if I can get through a summer without becoming overwhelmed. With that in mind, another treat that I treated myself to, this was for Christmas, is this beautiful deck. Now, I wanted this deck when it was a Kickstarter. I really wanted it, but I just couldn't afford it. But it came up on Blackwell's, which is a UK bookshop site, and it was reduced down to £26. The book is gorgeous. It's the Tarot Britannica, a tarot deck about the language of flowers, created by Kevin J. Stanton. It's published by Beehive Books. It comes in the most glorious box, and this came literally on Christmas Eve. I wasn't going to order it just purely because of finances, even though it was reduced down to £26. Even that was a push after expenses at Christmas with 3 kids. But I just thought to myself, moving forward with the way that flowers are speaking to me, and with my garden being such a big part of my practice, then this deck, I think, might become really important to me moving into next year. It's a celebration of the wins that I've had in the garden. It's a acknowledgement of the fact that my spiritual practice is linked to my garden. I mean, I have a magic garden on the channel, for goodness sake, guys. It just didn't feel right not jumping at this deck when I saw it. Look at the backs. The backs are so wonderful. Again, I need to do a proper walkthrough of this, a review when I've worked with it for a little while. But yeah, that was a Christmas treat to myself, bought at the very last minute. I have to say, I wasn't going to buy myself another tarot deck this year as part of my Christmas or birthday stash, but it made it in at the last minute, and I'm really pleased about it. Another win this year was the way that I started to reach out to people, to be friends, because part of the voices in my head says that nobody would ever want to be friends with me, and not to phone people or email them or message them, because who would be interested? That has been a constant voice on repeat all my life, but we're dropping story and I'm dropping that voice. So at the end of 2020, I reached out to Renee over at Meadowlark Mystics, who'd mentioned she wanted to do a depth year. And I asked her if she wanted to be a depth year buddy, and our friendship has blossomed all year. So as a celebration of our friendship blossoming, I bought for my Christmas present for myself her new Oracle, which is amazing, which I opened on Christmas Day with the book as well, which you buy separately. I also bought myself some pieces of artwork out of her Etsy shop, which I'll link below. I'm going to do a separate video opening the artwork because I haven't even opened the artwork yet. I opened the deck on Christmas Day, but it was all just too chaotic with the kids being excited. So I've saved opening the artwork till the house is quiet. So it's another big win, reaching out to friends and just knowing that that story in my head isn't necessarily the truth. My YouTube channel as well is another big win. Part of my Christmas present, I bought myself a phone holder to go on the dashboard in the car, so that if I'm going out doing adventure tarot or I'm back in Wales, I can put my phone in a holder and film the road as I'm driving to different destinations. That was the plan anyway. The Primrose and Prose Oracle deck was the deck that I got from developing a friendship with Lisa and Peggy Papez. I did their say yes to the deck lives. The lives I've done have been big wins as well, because I get scared doing lives. So I was really proud of those times when I stepped out and did a live. Now this deck was the one that we decided on say yes to the deck. So I ordered it immediately. I ordered it as soon as I'd done the video, and it sat sealed up. It was supposed to be opened on my birthday, but like I said, I felt a bit down on my birthday, so I didn't open it. And I opened this as well on Christmas Day, so Christmas was quite full of magic and wonder. And yeah. Talk about one more thing that's a win. My weight gain and my lack of success in that area, the weight's just gone up and up and up and up and up, and it has continued to go up. But so losing weight isn't a win, but getting to a place where I can forgive myself has been a win. I started the year by reading Kim Kranz's graphic novel, which is about her own eating disorder, which again developed after divorce. Her story really mirrors my own, and I read that book at the start of the year. It was the first book I read. It kind of set a tone, and it ripped my soul open and helped me get to this point at the end of the year. So part of my Christmas present, I also bought one of these journals for my daughter as well, was to get the Wild Unknown journal, which just looks incredible, with pages where you can fill your own things in. It just looks amazing. I can't wait to work in this through the coming year. It just felt like a full circle coming round and a celebration of the self-forgiveness work that I've done. Also, I thought this book looked really interesting. It's linking weight loss to spirituality. It's written by Marianne Williamson. Got no idea yet how it's going to read, like what it's going to be like, but I just thought it would make an interesting read for the coming year, as I do attempt to get my health back after a really rocky, emotional, trauma healing 2021. So those are some of my gifts to myself this Christmas and birthday. My birthday was November, and of course we've just had Christmas, but it just helped talk about some of my wins this year. So that's it, guys. A massively long video, I think, now, with a catch up from prompt 17 all the way up to 27, and a hello and where I've been. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're still here at the end of that, then thank you so much. We're back on track now. I do feel better. I hope you all had the most amazing Christmas time, or Yule, or just holiday season, whatever you call it. I hope it was amazing. I hope your new year and this lead up to New Year as well is going to be brilliant. So stay safe, guys. I hope you're all in good health, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.